You know, I might have the best job in the world. At least my friends think so. I get to meet all these motorsports people, and I get to meet them at the track wearing one of these. Because I've made my living over the last decade or so showing people how to go fast safely. We've got flagmen, we've got safety crews and communications equipment, and we all get a chance to look after each other. The motorsports experience is made up of cars and people and locations and charities and functions. Let's take a trip and go check it out. My buddy Paul Brown is GM over at Tiger Racing. When he told me he was building a GTS Class Speed World Challenge car, I asked to check it out. As you'll see, the beginning of building a real race car starts with removing most everything that made it a street car, then adding the things you need to go fast. Paul will show us how it's done.
Hi, I'm Paul Brown, and welcome to Tiger Racing. This week we're going to tear apart a brand new 2011 GT that just came off the showroom floor. It's going to get turned into a Boss 302R in less than 30 days for the SEMA show. Why don't you guys come on inside? First on the list today is get the interior gutted. That way we can get the car prepped for the roll cage, which we'll be working on this weekend. So doors come out, the interior comes out, the dash comes out, all the airbags, all the insulation and the crap that Ford puts in them to make them quiet. It's going to be a race car, so it's going to be loud. Hey, now that we're in the shop, these are the two guys that are going to help us tear this thing apart. This is Adam Cox and Chris Filius.
Almost immediately, work begins. After Chris clears some room in the engine compartment, Paul makes a pleasant discovery.
What's really nice that Ford's done is they've actually simplified the serpentine system. It now has an electric power steering pump, and back over here on the other side is the air conditioning, which is driven off a separate belt. I'm guessing we've already taken out 400 or 500 pounds.
So why the Mustang?
They're definitely making strides in the aerodynamic end of it, and it's I think it's been obvious at the recent races with the results that they've had with this body style. So.
With several hundred hours of prep work involved, Paul and Adam talk about the challenges of building a race car while the rule book's being written.
Part of the problem with building a car for a class that isn't totally sorted out on the rules is there's a little bit of interpretation on what is allowed and what isn't allowed, and we've been getting conflicting reports. You know, you look at how much we've cut out of this car, and that's something that a lot of people take for granted. If you're allowed to remove some of the sheet metal and, you know, knock some weight out of it, like what we've done with the roof panel, we're allowed to run the carbon roof. If you don't do it, somebody else is.
It's kind of confusing because that type of a thought is more in a touring car than it would be in a GT car, so I'm having a little bit of a problem with it. It's the first time we've put our heads together on a build, and I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna be a pretty bad car when we're done.
So at this point, how many hours do you think you guys got in this thing?
I'd have to look at the log sheets, but we're probably in it for 80.
Yeah.
The beginning of week 4 finds the cage in the car. An update in the rules indicate that additional structure can be added, so Paul and Adam get at it, fabricating tubing and support plates that allow the Mustang not only to absorb the shock loads that road racing deals out, but to allow the very alignment of the car to stay in place. Sounds like time well spent. and the 14-hour days begin to wear on the crew.
Good morning, welcome to Tiger Racing. Today's October 25th, and we are less than 1 week away from our deadline of having the Boss 302S race car behind me at SEMA. We've got our new Boss 302S motor sitting here. It'll get ready to go back in. We've got a few things that we're still working on, but I think all the fabrication's done, so now we're down to building it and assembling it and seeing what the next step is that holds us up.
You don't want to do anything on that.
No, because
Now there are only days left before this Mustang is transported to SEMA. Not much time to assemble a car. With a deadline so close, Tiger Racing's 14-hour days now become 20. SEMA stands for Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association, with over 200,000 industry personnel attending the SEMA show every year. The show starts on a Tuesday morning, so Monday is last-minute booth setup, and in the evening, laying of the floor coverings. I swing in town Monday night with my racer buddy Chris Stout. We're gonna go see the car in a Dyno Pack booth. Only it's not there. This is the impressive booth of Ford Motor Company. It's now 9 p.m., the eve of the show's opening. The Mustang's trunk is filled with Lucas car detailer, tools, and an ice chest of mixed beers. Chris, tell me about the last few weeks.
Well, it consisted of very little sleep and as much work as you can imagine.
What do you take away from all this?
As much as I can, the experience. Something that very few people get to do. A whole lot of work that I've learned. Definitely ready to get out on the track and learn the tuning aspect of it as well. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Adam, tell me about the building process.
It ended up being that there was a lot of attention to detail that had to be paid to things. And, you know, Paul and I, we have a lot of integrity that we put into our work. So good enough is a bar that's hard to reach sometimes. And, you know, when you get two guys like that are together, it's hard to be satisfied. So,
you know, all the simple things turned into a little more fabrication, and the 3 hours that we saved by buying off-the-shelf parts turns into a day and a half of fabrication to redesign everything. And it was, you know, on the fly making it happen, but again, we didn't shortcut. We didn't just, you know, tape some hoses together and call it good enough.
it makes them more ours.
Adam and Paul talk about the commitment and personal toll the timing of this project placed on them.
Left no room for the essentials as a human being, you know, one being sleep.
The fact that Adam lives about an hour and a half away, he ended up staying at our house for the last 2 weeks because that was time that we couldn't afford to get the car done. So, you know, not only is he sacrificing, but his wife is, my wife was. You know, it's the families. It's not just the hours and the time. It's the support.
Yeah.
That makes the difference.
I catch up with the Tiger Racing crew and take away a message of exhaustion and gratitude.
We really we do appreciate and love everybody that puts in with us. I mean, our friends, our families, especially our sponsors when it comes to doing something like this. Because without it, it wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen.
Tom also drag races a Corvette, so you know he's running I think it's a Super Gas big block 7-second Corvette. So you know everybody that we deal with, everybody that's involved in this car is also hands-on. They're people that build them.
They're people like us. They got heart. They got heart, and they put it all into what they do. And that's what that's about.
I've felt for a very long time that to be really good at anything, you have to take it personal. Tiger Racing does. So after all the brain damage, the stress, the re-engineering, the fabrication, would you ever want to do this again?
We're anticipating doing at least 3 more of these. So, the first one's always the hardest one, but it's...
We've got our blueprint.
Yeah, we do have a blueprint, but we've got a better plan.
And for the next 4 days, SEMA rages on. For 2010, the Redline Time Attack toured east and west, offering locals a chance to mix it up with some of the better tuner shops in the country. I toured with this series this year. It's been a year of friendships, learning, and lots of driver development. Redline events are casual, with lots of pit camaraderie, and of course, lots of eye candy. Paul's here, living the glamorous life that all race car drivers enjoy. He's turning the wheel for K&N air filters in their G35, the former SEMA car. This would be his office this weekend. We've teamed up as drivers before, and I'll never accuse him of not being aggressive enough on the track. His apex attacking style, along with the inside rumble strips at California Speedway, have taken its toll on the back part of the splitter. Have no fear, it's an easy repair. For this G35, it's been a year of development. First working with crew chief Dave Martis on reliability, and now on speed. But finally they feel competitive, being about 2 seconds off the very well sorted out Fontana Nissan. And even closer to the times of AE Racing's GT2 Porsche. So at the end of the day, the drivers banter about the battles on the track, and their friends and loved ones celebrate class championships. I'm already wondering about next year, and Paul's thinking about the Mustang's first test. For Paul and the G35, they'll take third this day, and they'll take third in points for the year. But you gotta believe, for 2011, they start off in a much better place. It's now been 2 weeks since the Redline season finale. Stephen and I scheduled some time together to head out to Covina from our homes in Ventura County. The Tigers crew has been balancing the holidays and family, the sorting out of the rules, engine management, and its regular customers. Chris is back east with his family, probably sleeping it off. Adam's reintroducing himself to his wife and kids. But Paul takes some time to chat and to take some dyno pulls to see the current state of tune in the motor. Paul's explained to me that having a brand new processor in this car, combined with the relocation of O2 and mass air sensors, has made its own project out of tuning this car. At least I survived SEMA. Tell me about, what are your opinions, what are your feelings?
It was actually very emotional for me at the event after we moved in and took that sigh of relief and
Let down.
we're here.
Yeah.
So we had some great meetings. Sounds like we get to do some testing with Pirelli. I'm pretty excited about that. We've been basically a beta test car. They've been helping us out. We've been helping them out. We've been going back and forth with things that we found that actually has helped them speed up their installation and their manufacturing. So it's been a really good relationship and definitely first-class guys to work with. It's been fun. The FR500 series, or the Mustang Challenge series, actually went away for 2010. The World Challenge series, which is what we built this car around, has allowed those cars to come in, but they were about 4 seconds off the pace. What they ended up doing is they spent time going back and doing additional development on the old car for the guys that have them.
You know, that's a really good point, because when that group of customers, like you said, is like 80 guys, but those are 80 guys that invested in Ford Racing Parts.
But when Ford did the testing, they took their factory car to their local track. They systematically worked there and would change one part, test, same driver. They changed the hood. The hood was worth 0.8 of a second.
I was gonna
which is-
say,
which
yeah.
is pretty huge on a 1.5 mile track.
Yeah, you put that on a 2.5 mile track.
And it all
Oh, yeah.
goes up. And they did their engine package, which is 100 more horsepower. That was worth 0.9 of a second. So you start adding all the things up, and when they were done at that small track, they were 3.5 seconds faster with just all bolt-on parts. They took all that information and then went to Miller, rented the track after the Grand Am race and before the Nationals, and reproved everything that they did. The Mustang Challenge cars were basically a 210 lap at Miller on the outer loop. They got their FR500C with our parts and their engine upgrades to go 206s. The purpose of the Boss 302S that Ford's doing is that it's designed to actually fit in many classes. We've got Grand Am and World Challenge that are kind of competing for the same customer.
That's what I want to
essentially.
talk about a little bit. Do either one of the classes, either one of the series, have a specific power to weight ratio?
Yes, but it seems to be adjusted according to the competition and according to the SCCA actually uses a rewards weight program. Basically, you win,
That's an oxymoron, dude.
you get more weight. You know, one guy could be 1.5 seconds faster than the other guys, you know, as a pro driver. So if he does good, then he gets rewards weight, but the guy that's 2 seconds off doesn't get it. So,
You know, one thing that's kind of exciting to me is that is a new car.
yep.
And it's a new motor, it's a new transmission. Tell me a little bit about the testing program, as you're jumping in with both feet, hopefully here pretty quick.
Things. Basically, it's a brand new car, so we have to start with the basics. The first time out, we'll try to run it without the aerodynamics, and that way we can work with the chassis thing. We use the full data acquisition, and you have to. It samples the car every time you go out, so now you can start looking at data, you can actually overlay, you can look at your Gs.
I think you have AIM on there. I used RacePack when I was developing the street Mustangs I did for Time Attack. You know, I was talking to Tim Anderson from RacePack one time, and I said, you know, for the price of a set of tires, the mystery is gone. I remember saying that this may feel fast, but is it fast? And the data acquisition will tell you if it is really fast.
And it kills me, these cars actually come with the AIM data acquisition straight from Ford. And when we were up at the Mustang Challenge events, I would say 3 guys were using it.
Why?
And it comes back, and a lot of guys are actually scared of it. It's a mystery. As the technology's gotten better with them, they've actually become easier to use. Well, and some of the new systems are even better. They're integrating video with the data.
Yes.
And that's awesome.
That's
Because
huge.
There's a couple times that you're looking at the data and go, well, why was I 1.5 seconds off? This doesn't make sense. And you pull up the video and go, oh,
I was blocked.
I caught somebody and I had to wait for a corner, or you know, it's one of the best tools, and it's well worth the money.
For a lot of guys that will actually test at an open track event or something like that, where there may be 30, 40, 50, 70, 80 cars there, you're going to get blocked a lot. And of course, you got a new motor, new 4-cam 5-liter in this thing. And I heard it running a few minutes ago. It's an incredibly smooth motor.